Can you believe I cleaned off all these perches and this floor less than 24 hours ago and they've made this much mess already? But it's about to start raining and I would like to get these young birds out to fly before the rain starts to come down. So let's quickly have a look at them. The good news, if you remember the last video, there was a bird missing and it was this blue-bar pied right here. Oh, my finger messed up the focus. So the good news is he's back, he's not lost, we haven't lost any of these young birds yet. And I also have a couple of new birds. These are some extreme long distance birds. So the first one is this blue bar off the back here. And then there's two blue checkers. There's one. There's one of them in the middle there. And the other one is over here. So you can see my extreme long distance birds have these orange marker rings on them. So drop me a comment and try and have a guess as to what all the different colour markers mean. There's blue ones, there's purple, and there's also red markers. I've also moved a few more of the weaned young birds into this section. So here's a nice little open and check. This section's getting quite full at the moment. So on the weekend I think I'll get the perches up on the side here and over here for a bit more room. And if we move into the next section, there are now only 3 pairs in this section. So there's one there, and one there. Another week or so and these guys will be out. Probably another week and a half for those ones. These ones are a bit younger unfortunately, so it'll be another 2 or 3 weeks until I can get these guys out. But once most of these pairs are out, I'll open up this door and then the flying birds will have access to both of these sections, which will be a lot more comfortable for them. Like I did with the other pairs before, they'll move out of this section. Put these guys on plastic eggs. Because although I would like to get some more babies out of this guy, I really do need to move these breeding birds out of this section and put the flying birds in. I love the active babies like this. So this guy's a nice black grizzle. He will change a lot in the mold. He's not a tiger grizzle, he's just a normal black grizzle. But he will be quite different in a few months when he's a bit older. Let's have a close look at this one though. I'm still not sure if it's an opal grizzle. So looking at the tail looks like an opal, but the... You okay? I just want to have a look. Alright, well this guy does not want us to look at his little sibling, so let's move on to the next nest. These ones, foster parents. Nice fat little babies. Down here the reds. This red checker at the front is definitely a cockbird, which is great news. It's exactly what I needed. And then the mealy at the back is probably a hen. I'll show you how I know this guy is a cockbird even though he's so young. So his dad was a red checker and the mother was a silver bar, which obviously is a blue based hen. And if you look closely at his feathers, you can see he's starting to get these black fleck marks in his feathers, which genetically is not possible for a hen. Which means this guy is definitely a cockbird, and I probably won't race him because of that, because I do need this guy for a collar project. I'll train him how to get back in the loft just in case he ever escapes, but I will be keeping this guy for breeding. In this section we have a few more fresh babies, including these recessive reds. These guys have been pumping out the babies this year. This is their 4th round. And again you can see the little brown rings on the beak, which prove that these babies are little recessive reds. This cockbird is actually a first-time father, which is a bit of a surprise. I've actually had him for 3 years. He's a 2008 bird, and he was actually a race winner, but I just haven't had a chance to breed from him. So these are his first ever babies. And I'm quite excited about that. I'm looking forward to seeing how these babies fly in the upcoming race season. Little gold ring baby, obviously a blue checker. He's growing up nicely. And behind him over there, there's a fresh egg. There'll be another egg tomorrow. And then this guy will have some more siblings. And then the last pair for this section are these guys, and she's not going to be happy about me having a look. But here they are. These guys obviously will be quite heavily pied, and I'm really hoping that one of them is a brown hen. I think there's a chance this one might be, but unfortunately it's still a bit too early to tell for sure. Alright, let's look at the rest of the babies before this rain starts. Finally, in this last section, there's only a few babies. Here's these guys. These are some more of the long distance birds. So these ones, you can see they've got the country challenge rings. That means that they will be aiming for a 725km race in September next year. This one's obviously a cock, and this one's a hen. And I'm pretty sure I explained in the last video how I can tell that, so you can run back to that video and have a look if you like. And then finally, I've just brought these guys up here. These are the babies from the lemon hen. And again, it's still too early to tell exactly what colour they'll be, but we know that if they are young cockbirds, they will carry the lemon gene, which means they'll be quite important in preserving that gene for the future. Anyway, let's put these guys back and get the young birds out to fly. Alright, well, it's still a bit overcast, but there's no rain and it's nice and cool, so the birds should enjoy flying today. Let's get them outside. Alright, well, the younger ones are just relaxing down here on the landing board, and the older birds have cleared off already. That's nice. Oh, there they are over there. Well, we'll let them enjoy a nice fly, and we'll see them back inside the loft. Some of these younger ones are really excited to try and get up and fly with the older birds, but they're still a bit too weak for it at the moment. Alright, these guys are starting to look like they might want to come down soon. So I'll go and get some food ready for them. Alright, well, as you can see, all the young birds are in, but the others, it was the same thing that happened last time. Just as they were going to come in, Falcon split them up. I can't actually see any of them at the moment. I'm sure they'll be back soon. There's an ibis, that's not a pigeon. It's just a young, inexperienced falcon that's turned up here at the moment, and he's not going to catch any of them. But I might stop the video here, and we'll see them when they're back again. Alright, here they are, safe and sound. And the blue skies actually started to come out, which is nice. Alright, let's get these guys back in the loft. So this is actually what it's going to look like once the breeding birds are out of that section. This door will stay open most of the time, and the birds, the flying birds, will have free access to both of these. We've also just topped up their grid, which they absolutely love. Alright, well that's all of them back inside safely. They're just finishing off their food. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Right here is another one that you might enjoy, and I'll catch you guys next time.